Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Elevator Show. And what is that? It's the elevator where we look at who has made their elevator case to go up a Hall of Fame or have done something so bad that they're going down the elevator. I'm Kirk Buchner, and I'm with Chris Mouradian. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well tonight, Kirk. How you doing?
Not too bad, actually. Usually I have a bit more fun when it's elevator down, but I've got so much up.
Yeah, I get to be the negative guy tonight. I got I think more
Okay,
downs than you
yeah.
do. So
Yeah, because like one thing that we kind of do, or we realized after doing this after like 9 times at this point, we don't tell each other what we're gonna do.
no, no, no pre-planning on this one.
No, or on any show that I do. So you know what? I'm gonna let you sort of like kick off because I think you've got more than I have overall. So I think you have, like me, a lot of elevator ups.
Yep, yep. I got a bunch of ups. So let's start
Kick it
out
off.
on let's start out on a positive note here.
Yeah.
Um, well, as you kind of figured out from some of the more recent shows, I'm a big fan of the IndyCar series,
Mhm.
and the month of May is the Indy 500, and we had a first time winner, although he's been winning pretty much everything else other than the 500, and that's Alexander Palou. Uh, six to six start with in the 500, first win, his fifth win this season out of up to that point 6 races. So he had pretty much been dominating the series. Uh, Back-to-back IndyCar season champion. 3 out of the last 4 times he's been season champion, and well on his way to his third consecutive and fourth in 5 years championships. So
Mhm.
getting that Indy 500, getting his face and image likeness on the Borg Warner Trophy, was a big deal for him and for the Chip Ganassi team this year. So his elevator has been going up for several years now, and it just keeps rising up. So kind of an easy one to start out with here, but wanted to recognize the accomplishment there for Alex.
Okay. Do you have any more in terms of auto racing?
No more auto racing.
Okay. Uh, I've got a. I'm wondering if we might sort of like parallel with this one because I'm going to go to college football.
Okay, I don't have college football, so you're.
You do or do not?
I do not. I'll let you
Oh,
take the
okay,
whole
okay,
take the lead
yeah,
here.
okay, cool. So what happened in last week was the College Football Hall of Fame. We're not sure why, but they changed a rule in terms of coaches because you have to have a 600 winning percentage to get in the College Football Hall of Fame until a couple days ago, which has now gone to 595, which seems like, eh? But there's two big names who are really helped out by that. One who is not controversial is Mike Leach. He passed away 3 years ago uh, from a heart issue. He only died at 61 or 62. I might have that wrong, but he was credited, not created, but with the air raid offense. So do you remember Cliff Kingsbury in Texas Tech, who was just like throwing like for 5,000 yards in college?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Mike Leach. And you're thinking like, my God, why isn't Kingsbury sort of like Tom Brady? Uh, eh, yeah,
Certain things don't translate as well as others.
although Kingsbury is a very successful college coach, but Leach, he had a record of 597 in terms of winning percentage. And well, I guess he qualifies now. Uh, Texas Tech, Wazoo, and Mississippi State, 158, 106, 5 point or 5985. You won't like when this they change this, you almost want to think like I did anyway. it's for Mike Leach. But he's not the only one who could potentially benefit from this. Now, you'll probably remember this, Les Miles. 2007, do I have that year right? 2007 national champion with LSU. And he had a record of 145.73, which was dropped to 108.73 because of, well, I guess it said like, well, your wins don't count for a certain amount of things. And ask Reggie Bush how much of that counts. But he went to well over 600 to 597. He now counts. Leach will definitely be part of a nomination class of 2027. Les Miles, I don't know. But they're not allowed to back on the elevator. That didn't exist before for them.
Yeah, and I think we were that close, and I think in Leach's case would it be like 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah.
And Miles, obviously the wins were there until they weren't for reasons.
Right.
Reasons. I don't think anybody's going to look at those two when they do ultimately earn their election into the College Football Hall of Fame there and think it was undeserving just because they were 2 or 3 hundredths of a percentage point under the arbitrarily set winning percentage needed to be eligible. So I think it's a good move, as long as they don't continue to do it over and over again and continue to lower it by 500 of a point here, 500 a point there.
Isn't it interesting though? Like, what other Hall of Fame has a winning percentage for a coach?
I don't think any of them do. I think all of them up to this point were based on merit. What kind of impact did you have on your sport? And I think you can tell by the teams that that those coaches led, whether they deserve to be there or not.
Yeah, to my knowledge, this is the only one. When I was looking at some of the articles that were talking about this, one name that keeps coming up is Howard Schellenbecker. Sort of like I'm pretty sure I got the school right. He resurrected FSU, but his winning percentage went to shit when he went to, is it FAU, FIU?
It was Florida Atlantic, I thought.
Okay, so FAU, yeah. So is he a college football Hall of Famer coach? I think he's a lot closer if you don't have to sort of like go by that percentage, which I believe is over 500, but I think is under 550. I could be wrong on that, but it's a weird thing that's the only one that I can think of where, okay, coaches, you've got to have this percentage. No other sport, no other athlete, nothing. Hey, Joe Thomas, you were one of the best tackles that ever existed. Sorry, your team didn't even hit 500.
Right.
It's a weird stat, and I wonder where it came from and why.
It seems arbitrary. 600. It's not like it's a round number, but it's not like 500 or 750, something like that. It seems to be getting looked at here at least, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll defer to you. What do you got?
Sure. Do you want to go basketball or you want to go hockey?
Let's do hockey because I wonder if we have the same thing. I've got a big hockey one.
I got 2 for hockey. 2 up and 1 down, actually.
Let's just go all hockey. Go on.
All right. I steal one from you from I think it was last year at this time. That's Corey Perry. The
Okay,
the
yeah,
guy is
I know where you're going with. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is still out there chugging along and
Hmm.
not just collecting a paycheck, he's contributing. He's been a pain in the ass for every team that Edmonton's played, which is his style. He's chipping in goals here. He's coming up on a semi milestone type goal here. I forget the exact number it is, but he's 40 plus years old. He's in the finals again, back to
Hmm.
back years. Um, Edmonton seems like they're on a mission. Like McDavid has just decided that he's winning the cup this year, and the rest of the league just needs to get out of his way. Um, and should that happen, another cup win for Corey Perry. He's kind of in my mind, a little bit of a borderline guy when it comes to the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's had a fine career. He's led the league. He's got trophies. A second cup will, I think, push him over that barrier there to not really be second guessed when he is finally elected.
Okay. No, I'm very fond of that. I don't have that, but yeah, I'd agree.
Okay,
You have two in hockey though.
I do. Yeah, I have a second one. That's Alexander Barkov. So
Oh,
he
I
took
love
home.
Barkov. You know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So he's again another player. He's playing in the finals this year,
Hmm.
and he just took home a couple of trophies: the Selke Trophy for defensive forward, and the King Clancy Trophy. So he's not a guy that's going to be lighting up the score sheet, but he is obviously a very integral player to the Florida Panthers and their success. He's team captain. Um, but you consider, obviously by winning the Selke, the best defensive forward in the league this year.
Yep.
Um, just another notch on his belt for the Hockey Hall of Fame for somebody that's not going to get there by points. He's going to get there by being the leader, the tough player to play against, the one that everybody wants on their team at the end of the day.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Barkov, Kachuk, and so many of the Florida Panthers. If I wasn't a Canadian, it would hurt me to have to sort of like cheer against them, but I have to. I'm going to stay with hockey here. I've got an elevator up that maybe you might not have thought of, or it's like an elevator back in. And I view this whole elevator up, elevator down as this fictional creature that these players or contributors, whatnot, have to sort of like get into. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay.
You have to do something to get on the elevator one way or the
All
other.
right. So what if you got kicked off the elevator, but not just the building? I've got someone who's now allowed back in the building in hockey.
Okay.
Joel Quenneville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joel Quenneville is the head coach, was the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, who led them to 3 Stanley Cup championships. He got sacked. Well, let's forget about what happened in Chicago. Let's go with Florida. The Panthers were 7-0 in the 2022-23 season. I might be off on that, but they went back to a big scandal in Chicago where
Stuff was overlooked intentionally.
hmm?
Stuff was overlooked intentionally.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, overlooked intentionally. And so there was a gentleman named Brad Aldrich who was a video coach, and he basically, not basically, he sexually assaulted a young Blackhawks prospect named Kyle Beach, which is disgusting. I think we all agree on that. And then when it sort of like came to light, a lot of people in Chicago just said, shit, this sucks. let's not talk about it because we're really good, including Joe Quenneville. And I'm trying to think here if I was him, and it's really, really tricky, right? Because you're controlling a team, you want everything to sort of like work for a team that's really, really good. But we have somebody who's lower in the totem pole who was sexually abused. What Joel Quenneville did and decided was wrong, I don't know that anyone else in the NHL in 2010, hell, for 2020 would have made the same decision. I don't know. I'm not defending him. I'm trying to understand it. Quenneville has 969 wins. That's number 2 all time. Number 2 all time with 3 Stanley Cups. He has a Hall of Fame record. He's in his early 60s, and now he just got re-signed or signed with the San Jose Sharks.
Anaheim Ducks.
Hmm?
Ducks, I thought.
Oh, I thought it was San Jose. Okay. Anaheim? Okay. Okay, either way, it's a shitty California team. San Jose, Anaheim. Okay. I'm not really feeling that bad that I got that wrong. But he's got 969 going into this. He's not getting 1,000 with either of these teams this year. I got that one right, huh? So, but he's now allowed back in hockey. And I feel kind of strange here. Like, I hate how he helped hide this, but come on. So many of his peers would have done the same thing. And I know that's a wrong answer. I know it's wrong. But here he is. He's back. He's back in the fold.
Yeah. My only conclusion from this was that through the investigations, while he was found to be negligent, it wasn't to the effect or impact as others. He obviously served a punishment, and I would guess that Anaheim, Joel Quenneville, the league all had to come to the conclusion that
No.
you know the punishment at that point had fit the crime. We'll never know. Um, but you're right. He's back. He's gonna be the head coach again. Obviously, this is gonna be a talking point, especially at the beginning of the season. The media that uncovered the wrongdoings in the first place will want to have some questions answered, I'm sure. So the story isn't going away just because he's got a new job. I think it's just coming back around again. But the fact that he does have a new job, you're right. He's allowed back in the league. He's going to be considered now going forward for um the work he does with the Ducks here. So he's able to turn that team around and get some underperforming players to meet their or exceed their potential, and they start winning more games like they should be. He's going to be he's going to be seen as the coach he is, and they're going to probably start to over time forget about the reason he wasn't coaching for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a well because of that, he's got like hit numbers that he would have had to before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got a couple in basketball. Actually, everything I have is basketball left.
All right. I got a hockey down and a basketball up, so I'll let you decide where you want to go.
Let's keep it with hockey. What's your hockey down?
All right. Hockey down. Jake Ottinger.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go
yeah.
on.
So he had a fantastic run with the Dallas Stars in net up until the conference finals there, and
Yep.
they were down 3 games to 1, and first two shots to game 5 go behind him. He gets he gets pulled, and it was not a situation where I just need to shake up the team. I'm putting the guy back in after we kind of get everybody's attention here. It was Peter DeBoer pulled him and sat him on the bench and made him watch. And right or wrong, he made his decision. He stuck with it. That's going to create some tension, I would think, going into next season. You have a goaltender who's 1A, 1B with Connor Hellebuck when it comes to
Mm.
United States for international play. And now you've, at the biggest stage, embarrassed him. I mean, granted, he didn't exactly bring his best to the finals there, but he wasn't the reason that they lost 4 games. Um, Let in some goals they shouldn't have, for sure. Every goaltender goes through that at some point. Um, but it kind of creates a situation of for Dallas now, which road are you going to take? Are you going to go with stick behind Ottinger or stick behind DeBoer? Because it doesn't seem like the two of them, based on DeBoer's comments, that he has confidence in Ottinger going forward.
Mm.
So, which way here, young man, are you going to go? So it's clearly a down note on a otherwise fantastic season for Dallas and for Jake personally, and creates a whole lot of questions going into the summer here.
We get a better postseason than Hellebuck.
He did. He got it a little bit further.
Oh man, like you and I, we have to hang out for the next Olympics for hockey.
2026, yeah, next year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We're in the same country for the final time, for the first and possibly final. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. You're the traveling man, so
I am the husband of a traveling woman.
you go.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna go with basketball here. Actually, everything I have left here is basketball.
I
Uh,
have I mentioned one up. I actually have a basketball down too,
you have
and
up
then
and down.
I have it up and down, and then I can close out with a couple of baseball for fun.
Okay, do you want to do your baseball, and then we'll finish with
Sure,
basketball.
sure, yeah, we can do that.
Go ahead.
All right. Um, Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson. They're back to being
Yeah,
eligible again,
yeah. Okay,
even
yeah.
though they really never weren't eligible.
Mhm.
The stigma of being permanently banned from baseball has been removed from their records,
Yep.
and it's now the potential there for one or both of them to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And at this point here, they are both in the classic eras category, which is kind of extreme. Roughly about 100 years of baseball history, so pretty much anything 1979 and prior.
Well, no, it depends on because they have two different categories. So
Mhm.
like where Rose will be is 1980. I could be wrong, but
Mhm.
1980 and before.
That's the classic era, 80s and prior,
Yeah, but there's another category. So
80 and forward.
well, yeah, for those like in the veterans, but yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, Rose will be in that one. So yeah, but go on.
Yeah. So I think 2027 is probably the first
Yeah,
time one of them will be eligible here.
both Rose and Jackson could potentially
Mhm.
potentially be on that ballot, but yeah.
If they're smart, I think they run with bless you, put Jackson first and see what the temperature is, because I think enough time has passed with him. There's been a lot of softening when it comes to what happened back in the Black Sox scandal there. He was always kind of thought of as not really being somebody that participated, even though he kind of was around it. So if
Hmm?
if they're smart, they go with nominating Jackson first and seeing what happens. But it's nice to see that both of them kind of not necessarily got their records cleared, but just got that stigma removed of being permanently banned from baseball. And hopefully that's create some conversation here with the next senior veterans era committees that can consider them.
Yeah, and I think what I just want to like mention here, just because MLB said they're now reinstated does not necessarily mean that the Baseball Hall of Fame has to acknowledge that. They don't have to. So that's separate.
Yep. The Baseball Hall of Fame and Major League Baseball are two separate things, but
Mm,
Major League Baseball did have them on their permanently ineligible list, and
right.
the Baseball Hall of Fame committee tended to follow along with that, I think, as well. So,
They did, but just to make sure that everyone
oh
knows
yeah,
they are separate
but
institutions.
yep, no, great clarification.
Yeah. Okay. My continuation here, elimination rather, is in basketball. And one thing I like about what the NBA has done in terms of the all NBA is that first team, second team, third team is not based on position anymore. Used to be. So, long story short, when they vote on their all NBA, this is their top 15 players, period. And if you look back at the 10 years before they decided this, some of the centers that they had there were a little tricky in terms of that, which is might be why they have no shot in hell of getting the Basketball Hall of Fame. So when I look at who got into the All NBA, I think this is a big thing. I really do. So there's a few people who I think have done a lot more here than others. I mean, I'm not going to look at like LeBron James because he's already in. Jokic is in, but so there's a few people who I think are very special here. Donovan Mitchell of Cleveland, and yeah, I know the Cavs bombed in the playoffs. I don't think they were going that far, but okay, whatever. He's now first team All NBA again after six All Stars. Jalen Brunson, a second year all in a row again. Evan Mobley, second team All Star. But the one I think it helps the most is Carl Anthony Towns of New York. And Cat is somebody, a player I love. I absolutely love him. I love the fact that he was healthy all year. He's now a third team player for what is it? I think the third time, the first in New York, fifth All Star. Out of all the people who I think he can help, it's Carl Anthony Towns more than anyone else.
Yeah, he that big trade with Minnesota in the
Yep.
offseason kind of caught a lot of people off guard there
Me
after the run
too.
that yeah, after the run
Yeah.
that the Knicks had last year, kind of surprising some people there. Um, yeah, it seemed to take a little time to work out, but it finally started clicking for Towns and the Knicks there
Mm-hmm.
uh, through the season as they moved, played on, and he earned that third team spot, and you know, not quite able to get the finals there with first year there, but clearly that team is set up for success and future success for Towns individually.
Yeah, the healthier he is, the better shot he's got. And I'm cheering for him a lot personally. I
Yeah.
really hope that he's got another few good years in him. I really do. I only have one left, my only elevator down, but well, you already know what it is.
He kind of, yeah. All right. Well, I got a little bit of up for basketball. I also was looking at the All NBA
Yeah,
teams,
yeah.
and
You know what? Do that, and we'll finish with who you already know I got.
yeah, right. And then so I was looking at the first timers, and Jalen Williams from
Okay, see? Yep,
OKC,
yep,
Cade Cunningham from Detroit, and Evan Mobley, who you mentioned from Cleveland.
yep.
As you mentioned before, you kind of got to do something to get on the elevator. Those three young players did a lot this year to earn their teams here. Mobley second team, Cunningham and Williams both third team. Obviously, Mobley with the Cavaliers, the team had a lot of success. Williams, they're still in they're in the finals this year now.
Mm-hmm.
And Kate Cunningham with Detroit, they broke a really long playoff drought there
Mm-hmm.
for the Motor City. So I just wanted to. Those are the three that I kind of looked at, and like I said, first timers. I wanted to recognize their season and getting on the elevator here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
Yep. So I know you're down. It's not my down for basketball, so
So you
I
have another
wouldn't.
down?
I have a different down. Yeah.
Do your down first. I'm
All
curious.
right.
Yeah.
Angel Reese.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
So she's obviously a very talented basketball player.
Yeah.
However, her game has just struggled all year to the point where there's
Okay.
a lot of memeing going on out there. And that is catching
Mm-hmm.
on with the somebody like me who's not a WNBA fan, where I'm understanding now the term me bounds instead of rebounds. So
Yeah. No, I already know. Yep. Go on.
so the shooting percentage, the off the court controversy that uh, surrounded her recently. There's a lot of negativity about her and her game right now. And even though she's was an all-star last year, her team was champions and things like that.
Whoa, no, no, not in the WNBA.
No, all
No,
right.
her team was a champion in the NCAA
Oh, okay,
with
okay,
LSU. But yeah.
all right. So like I said, the fact that it's getting to normie like me here, there's something there, and she needs to kind of quell
Mhm.
this now because that that reputation is gonna stick with more and more people here the longer it goes. So
Mhm.
that's me.
Uh, okay. I am the women's basketball person here on the site. And what you said isn't wrong. She is me bounds. I never heard that, but that's not far off. And the funny thing is, too, she's not that big. She's not that tall. She's 6 feet. So like she kind of reminds me in a weird way of Rodman, who was obsessed with rebounds.
Mhm.
Angel is a player. She can play. Angel is not a top 10 player. She can be, but she's not. I hope she is, because if she is, it's good for basketball. It's good for women's basketball. And it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this today. Is Angel Reese more popular than Nikola Jokic?
Popular or well known?
Popular, well known, whatever. I think the fact you're thinking about it says it's pretty close.
Yeah, it is because, and it shouldn't be really, because Jokic has got 2 MVPs and a championship within
Three
the last couple of
MVPs and
years.
doesn't give a fuck.
Three MVPs, yes.
Yeah. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. But,
Where Angel Reese wants to be famous. Angel Reese wants to be Serena Williams. But she isn't the player that Serena is in terms of that.
yeah.
I'm a fan of Angel. I really am. But Angel Reese's biggest opposition is not the fans. It's not racism. It's not this. It's Angel Reese. She's her own biggest victim. That's what I honestly believe. Saying that, I could see why you said what you said in terms of her own Hall of Fame issue, because she's not a top 10 player. She thinks she is, but she's not. And I hope she will be one day. I really, really do. But she's not even close.
Yeah.
She's not close. And one day she might be. One day she may not be. I don't know. But Angel, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, I gotcha. I'm cheering for you. I am.
There you go.
I am.
The chairman's in your corner.
Massively.
And he's a public figure, so you know
yeah,
that's important.
No, because you know what? I like watching her play because here's the thing why I like women's basketball and women's soccer more than sometimes men's basketball and men's soccer. There's none of that. They fight. You know what I mean? No?
Okay. I don't watch it enough, I think, to
Okay.
pick up
So
on
you ever
that.
watch soccer, right? You
Not
watch
really.
soccer.
Not really.
Okay. So men's soccer drives me up the wall because you have your championship game or whatever game, and then there's somebody who goes like who pretends to they're hurt.
Oh, the flopping. Okay, I've heard of that meme, so to speak. Yeah.
Right. Same within basketball.
Yeah.
Women's basketball and women's soccer, they don't do that nearly as
Okay.
well.
All right.
And that's a big thing for me. They don't act like they're hurt because they don't want to tell anyone that they're tough or that they're not tough.
Sure.
And I respect that.
All
So I guess we'll close off with the obvious elevator down.
Yep.
Oh, Zion. It's so obvious. I don't even know where to go here with this. Zion Williamson just got accused of another rape charge. Potentially. Zion should have been a bigger star than he was. In 2019, when he was drafted number 1 overall, those who have the basketball TV, all of a sudden New Orleans was now a big part of that, right? Well, not anymore. Not anymore from year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. How do we put this delicately? Zion Williamson loves to eat and he loves to fuck. And he's bad at both of them.
Yeah, his basketball career has obviously been hindered by injuries, which probably were exacerbated by the fact that he struggled with keeping his weight in line.
Yeah. And here we are. He's only 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking at that because like you and I we've been talking about that, or I know I've been so like pounding that. for the NBA Finals, and you and I are going to be doing a show on that tomorrow, how much the National Basketball Association needs a player who's a superstar under 25.
Yeah.
Was it not supposed to be Zion Williamson?
I think that was somebody's idea at the time back when he was dominating for Duke. Yeah.
Right. And here he is, and he's not. And he let excesses go. All of it that he could have, like, all right, I can have this woman, I can have this food, I can do everything I want to do. And sometimes you can. Well, you're not one of them. I don't know what to say. And at this point, I don't know what he did in terms of the rape charge. And I want to be very clear on that because, like, I don't know how accurate and serious it is. But if you look at his past, he's had issues in these departments. It's hard not to believe that this is probably the case. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the league too, because this is not
Yeah.
something obviously you want hanging over your league. The one thing I've heard, read was, the accuser went to a lawyer, not to the police. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't any kind of investigation done
No,
prior or
but
anything like
you have to
that.
mention that because, yeah, yeah.
So it does kind of, she's looking for money, not justice.
Mhm.
Justice through the criminal justice system, at least at this
Agreed.
point.
Agreed.
So
He's put himself in that position where you're going to believe the accuser as opposed to him.
yeah, and he's
Oh.
denied it through his attorneys or spokesperson. So
Mhm.
you obviously innocent until proven guilty. We've seen a number of these high profile accusations kind of fall apart. We've also seen others where they've turned out to be worse than what they were initially accused of. So
Yeah.
one of those things that unfortunately we got to have patience with and let the investigation play out before uh, casting any sort of public verdicts here. But it does obviously, the fact that it's out there hangs a dark cloud over Zion, the Pelicans, as you said, and the league as a whole.
I guess what pisses me off for him, you had God on your plate, and this is what you did with it. Who is helping you in life? Who's helping you say, like, hey, maybe you don't have to do this? I don't know. And I'm not going to shit so much on Zion because Zion is young and dumb. Who were his handlers?
Was some of this was going on back college era, wasn't it?
Yes. So who was helping him out with this? I
So
mean, look at LeBron James. LeBron James, we can shit on him for a few things, and I have. But LeBron James, the people who were his handlers and the people who in his posse, whatever you want, are still there. LeBron James knew at 19 not to fuck up like this. No?
no, I mean you're right, and it's it raises questions about the culture that he was part of going back all the way to college and probably high school. The that there wasn't somebody there to guide him or kind of put him on the
Friends.
superstar path that
No.
where they protect him from maybe his own poor decisions or allowing somebody to take advantage of him. So
And
it's a shame.
it's unfortunate because like you and I, we've been talking about like how the NBA needs a superstar under 25. So here we have Zion, and you and I remember when he got into the league, the NBA TV powers that be moved a bunch of primetime games for the Pelicans, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
the Orleans were like 3, 4 years ago. Like they got a bunch of primetime games on TNT, whatnot. However you go, him gone. Ben Williams gone. Well, that's another story, but I want so bad for these NBA finals to make a superstar. I want them to make two superstars. I want that series, and I know we're going to do this tomorrow. I want that series to go 7 games so bad for the history of this league. That's what I want. That's what's going to be. I got nothing else.
Okay. I have nothing else either.
All right. Well, there we go. All right. So wherever you are, wherever it may be, make this day count. We have so much more coming here. Obviously, Chris and I, we're going to be doing another show tomorrow. There's going to be a show coming up where we talk about the United States Football Hall of Fame, and we're super happy about that.
Yeah, excited
Vote.
about that.
Yes, vote, vote, vote. www.theusa.hof.com, where you're going to help decide, hey, who's the best American athletes ever? And it's not just some dumb Canadian here. It's going to be all of you.
That's right. You're the reason that they'll be selected come November.
November 1st.
Yeah. So you can help Pete Rose out. You can help Mike Schmidt out if you're a baseball fan.
Mhm.
Bob Cousy if you're a basketball guy. Elgin Baylor, George Mikan if you want to go old school. We got boxers, we got tennis players, we got golfers, we got female golfers, we got
Auto racers, buddy.
auto racing. Yep. So
Yeah.
122, 132, something
Yeah.
like that.
Not athletes, coaches, contributors.
Yep.
And we're so happy about that. And it's the first thing ever that is said about all of you.
Yeah.
All of you.
www.theusahhof.com.
There you go. Easy to remember. So take care, everyone. We love you. Take care.
Good night.